do have a yarn advent, but it came on Saturday, I think, and I didn't get too much of a chance to like set it up all pretty, so it is still just kind of bagged up. So I'm gonna open that soon. Hi and welcome to day one of Vlogmas. I am so excited to be vlogging, but also I am aware of my like skill level and limitations for vlogging, so I think this is gonna get better as it goes along, but I hope today's is still pretty good. I have the Stash Tea Advent this year, and I didn't even bring the little tag in here with me, but I think it was called Mary Berry. And that is really tasty. So I'm gonna drink my tea and I am going to do a little bit of crocheting with my yarn advent. I'm gonna move into the dining room where it's a little bit brighter, and I'm going to bring day one of my advent with me and then talk about my advent while I work it up. So the yarn advent that I have is one that I got as a giveaway from Nitty Natty and Boston Jen. So Natalie had put together a 25 mini skein I think 25 mini skein advent based on leftovers from her 50 states blanket series from her travels. And so she basically sent me an advent full of leftover mini skeins, and so it's a totally one of a kind sort of thing, so it's not something that you'll see anybody else using. I have a list of all of the yarns here, and although this is technically spoilers, I don't know really what any of these are, so it's not a big deal for me to have spoilers. She also included a note card when she sent it, and she said that they're arranged in a rainbow-esque manner from red through the rainbow to pink with a few neutrals at the end. So I'm hoping that it works for the pattern that I'm going to be using, which is the Mima Makes. I didn't print every page of the pattern, so it is, I'll put it somewhere on the video or in the description box. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and open the first day. The little muslin bags that she used are not like very thick, so you can kind of see the colors through them, but that's okay. I've been just not really looking at the bags very closely. I feel like that's more than 20 grams. That is so pretty. And everything I think is all pre-caked up. So this one is called Hummingbird Moon. This was the 2023 limited edition for the yarn and the tail. Hummingbird Moon is the brand. For a second I was reading that as the colorway. So Hummingbird Moon is the yarn brand. It's based out of Wyoming, and this is the 2023 limited edition colorway for the yarn and the tail. I think that must be a yarn shop. So this one is 70% superwash merino, 20% nylon, and 5% stellina. I love that. It's so pretty. So I'm making the Mima Makes, it's like the Imagination quilt, I think. It's based on Anne of Green Gables. And because it's like a quilt style crocheted thing, she put together this really nice table to tell you how many of each daily color squares to make and which quilt block that it goes in. So for the first day, I need 4 squares, solid squares of color 1, and those will be part of block 10. And then I need 4 squares that are half color 1 and half the undyed like neutral color. So I'm not doing those half and half squares right now because I haven't pulled out the undyed skeins that are for the like main neutral color of the blanket, but I will be able to do the 4 solid blocks for block 10. I did swatch for this blanket. It's primarily these nice solid granny squares. I did do a little swatch of it, and I thought I was using the hook size called for in the pattern, which is a 3.5 millimeter or an E hook. And so when I measured it and it came in at only 2 inches instead of 2¼ inches, I thought I would have to go up to a hook size, and the next size hook that I have is a G hook, or a 4 millimeter hook, because I, for some reason, don't have an F hook. I've looked through all of my different sets of hooks and I just somehow don't have that one. And then I realized that the hook that I had used to swatch was actually a D hook, a 3.25 millimeter hook. So I found my E hook. I am going to just do the first square and measure it again. And if it does come in at the right size, then I will continue using the E hook. But if it does not, then I will have to go up to a G hook and just skip the 3.75 millimeter size. Because for some reason all my hooks just go from 3.5 to 4. So I am going to go ahead and just start doing the four squares that I need for block 10. And I did print the pattern because I don't do solid granny squares very often, so I just didn't want to forget and accidentally start doing clusters and then get like lost in that. So that's what I'm gonna do now until I have to go to work. It's just barely at 2¼ inches, so I'm going to leave it as is because I don't know really if I have enough yarn of each color to do it at a larger gauge. So while I would be comfortable with doing it at a looser gauge, this is really pretty good, and I guess I can't really like guarantee that I'll have enough yarn to do it with the G hook, and I don't have the F hook. So this is the first square, and I still have to cut the tail and fully finish it, but it's very pretty. I really like the color. It reminds me of like some fiber that I had spun up a couple of years ago. So very pretty. I need to make 3 more of these, and I probably have time to make like 1 more right now. So I'm gonna grab my scissors and finish off this one and then quickly make a second one. Okay, so here's the 2 squares that I managed to finish this morning. I really like the colors, and I feel like it's kind of funny because they started at different points in the color sequence, and the blocks still pretty much look the same, kind of just like the inverse of each other. Yeah, I don't know. There's obvious differences, but yeah, these are really cute. I am so far still pretty happy with my decision to use this advent with this pattern. The pattern really calls for using like tonals, and it's not like a full rainbow of tonals. But I think that this will be really fun using the variegated colorways in the order that Natalie put them in. So yeah, I need to make 2 more of the solid color squares, and then I have to pull out my undyed skeins of yarn and see if I have 4 skeins in the same base, and then I have to make 4 more squares? Yeah, 4 more squares that are basically on the diagonal. Half of it is the color and the other half is the undyed, and like a quilt block where it's like a triangle, 2 triangles to make a square sort of thing. So these are essentially little quilt blocks that are crocheted. So I am excited to see how those get along, but I need to start getting ready to go to work. So I will finish up the solid squares this afternoon and see if I can get to the triangle squares later this evening. So it is dark again, and that is because it is super duper late, and by that I mean it's like 4:30, 5 o'clock. It's 5:45. Yeah, this is kind of the slightly messier view of Behind Where I Podcast. I am not done making my advent squares for the day, but I did get pretty far. So, and by pretty far, I mean, I should have brought the first 2 that I did. Okay, I promise you that these are not the same 2 that I did earlier. So I finished making the color 1 solid squares, and then I found enough of undyed yarn in the squish sock base from Shipwrecked Sheep back when I was dyeing yarn. It is a 2-ply high twist, 75%. Yes, 75%, 25% superwash merino and nylon. It is different than the 80-20 base. It's a slightly thinner, but still fingering weight. Anyway, and just to make sure that I could get the same gauge, I did 1 solid color square, so I'm ahead for like day 2 or 3, whatever day. Oh, that almost fell on the floor. Tomorrow I need to do 4 squares in the undyed, so I keep looking at my phone screen and not the actual lens. And then I did 1 of the 2 colored squares, so let's see, that's the front. It's cute. Right here, I think that I did a chain wrong, but it looks right in terms of everything else, so I don't know. But I'm not going to take it out. I need to make 3 more of these to be good for today, but I wanted to show, because this is so funny. There are some days that really are asking a lot more than others. So I went ahead and put the dates on each of these, or the day of the week, and then I put how many each day requires, and we've got some days asking for me to do 16. I think the least amount on any given day is maybe 7 or 8. Yeah, 8. Yeah, so we start nicely. And then 1 more, and then several more, and then we kind of go back and forth, and then we just really get into it next Wednesday, which is wild to me, and I just think that's so funny. So there is that. I might try and, I don't know if there's any possibility of working ahead on those days, but if I don't finish them all on these days, I can do them on I know I have this day off of work. So once I finish my 8 squares for that day, if I need to go back and finish some of these half square triangle guys, I can do that. I also went ahead and weighed finally my mini skein from today, and it's just shy of the 20 grams. So I hope that I don't run out of yarn. I think that I do have similar-ish to this colorway yarns in my scrap stash. Not exactly, but I bet I could find something that is a magenta orange variegated. So if I need to kind of supplement with a little bit of scrap stash that I have, I do have some. I also noticed, oh, I can turn this around again. So noticed when I was sort of sorting through these, okay, not sorting, but like I was putting them in this project bag. Not to give myself too many spoilers, but like this one, I think is like a mostly undyed skein with just pink speckles. If that ends up being true, I'm not sure what day that is, but if that ends up being true, it won't probably look right next to this because it'll look too similar. So in the event that or any of the other mini skeins are too close to being undyed, if they're just like an undyed with speckles, then I can just also supplement from my scrap stash and save the mini for something else. Oh, and one more thing. I got a giant bag of drop snow delivered today. And so I'm going to be maybe making some sailor slippers for Christmas gifts. So I'm very excited about that. But yeah, that is my progress on these. I need to figure out a way of storing these so that they can be organized properly for the blocks. But yeah, I am going to do 3 more of these ones tonight. That is, I guess, where I'm gonna leave you guys tonight. I don't know how good this video is. I was watching other vlogs earlier, and because a lot of people put up like a day 0 vlog for today that was filmed before the 1st, and I'm actually recording this on the 1st, and I think I'm gonna try and edit this really quickly before I do. I'm gonna grab dinner and put it out today, but I don't know. I guess, do you guys, whoever is watching this, do you care if day 1 goes up on day 2 of the month on December 2nd? I don't know. Do people care about that? I don't. I think that's what pretty much everybody else is doing. Like tomorrow will be day 1 when I'm watching like Knitty Natty, Little Wolf Knits, Rachel is Knitting. All of their videos that came out today on the 1st say day 0. So yeah. And should I have done like a prep video? I didn't really know that I was going to be vlogging until very recently. So yeah, anyways, thanks for hanging out with me for the day. I hope to have more things to show you. I'm kind of getting a little bit of my, like, I'm kind of figuring out how this vlogging thing works. So bear with me. Hopefully the rest of the Advent season goes even better than this. But yeah. Okay. See you tomorrow.